I understand you might be interested in getting onto the board of the Law Society as a non-lawyer. If that's the case, you might have a few questions, and two that I can think of that are really important, or at least to me important, are why do they want to have non-lawyers on the Law Society board, and what qualifications or knowledge do I need to have to get on? But it's really important for this organization, which serves the public when it comes to competent lawyers and ethical lawyers and access to justice, to get some feedback from the public rather than just listening to what lawyers have to say. Admirable as they are, sometimes it's a closed loop. There are a number of things that I think are important. One, you have to be interested in ideas of justice, fairness, and equity, and then probably have some faint knowledge of the justice system itself, how the courts work, how lawyers think, all that sort of thing, so that you're reasonably informed when you come to these meetings. Another thing that's really useful is you should have a background that covers a lot of territory. It's good to be a generalist. So if you've worked in retail, owned a business, worked in government, worked for not-for-profits, worked for boards, or done a lot of board work, you bring this experience to the Law Society, and it's really useful to have somebody looking in who has a different worldview. You have to be susceptible or interested in other cultures, particularly Indigenous culture. I'm just a white guy, but I've worked with a lot of Indigenous nations and Inuit for a long time. And you have to understand that that's one of the foundations of the legal system and of a lot of the difficulty we have with the legal system. And you should be interested in other ethnicities and people new to the country and so on. One thing you might want to think about is looking beyond the perimeter. It's a kind of good little trick to do once in a while, is to think that there might be something in Manitoba beyond, say, Headingley. Finally, I think what you really need to do is understand that you'll have to do some reading and some studying, but what's really important is you have to be prepared to speak up and speak out, sort of on behalf of the public, as someone who is looking in from the outside and saying, you guys might be thinking that way, but I'm pretty sure a general person in the public won't be thinking that way. This gig is fun and interesting. The staff are extremely professional and supportive, and the other benchers are actually incredibly competent and interesting and intelligent and good to talk to and all that. And you should come away from this with the idea that just maybe you're contributing to something that's important and valuable to people's lives.